FX Nation, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And guys, in this video we're going to take a look at some live trades that I took. And so I asked you guys a question on which video you wanted to see next, and I created a poll, and based on your feedback guys, here's the video. Alright, so quick video on some trades, some live trades that I took, and let's go over them, and so you can see what happened and what I was thinking. Alright, so without further ado guys, let's get this started. Alright guys, so the first trade that we're going to go over is EURGBP. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and explain the trade, okay, and we're going to replay it, and then I'm going to show you me actually taking the trade. Alright, so that way you can see I actually took the trade. Alright, so first things first, EURGBP. Alright, here's our Asian box right here, and let's play this out real quick and I'll show you what I was thinking at this time. Alright, so as you can see here, Asian session is going, and essentially after the Asian session, what did we end up getting was basically price was moving back and forth right at the lower half of the Asian range, right? So when I was toggling before the line chart and the regular bar chart, I was essentially seeing a type 3 setup. Okay, so basically price came down, came back up, came back down, came back up again, and then started to come down like that. Okay, so that was essentially the pattern that I was trading for EURGBP yesterday. All right, so let me go ahead and let this play out for you, and then we'll show you me taking the trade, and then we'll talk about it. All right. All right, so a couple things I want to point out, guys, is number one, there was here, I'll bring it up here so you can see it. There was, I believe, the 800 EMA was here. So it was basically bouncing off of this particular EMA, as you can see, 1, 2. And to some people, it could have confused them, and they could have thought this was actual W, right? Now, the main thing with actually, if you're trading a W here, is the fact that it has to clear the middle of the range. And if it doesn't clear the middle of the range, then guess what? It's not an actual W. It's a type 3 M formation, right? So in this case here, if you just, stand back and look at the bigger picture, it was just basically, it hit it a couple times, and then it finally dropped. And of course, this dropped because of the CPI news that came out on CAD. Okay, we ended up closing out this trade after, obviously after the news. So we ended up closing out down here. So on this particular trade, guys, our entry was on this bar here. So our entry was this bar here. This one here. This was our entry bar. And then our stop loss was up here, and then that way we had a nice tight stop loss. So if we were wrong and this was a W, we would have been out of the trade and we would have been all good. Okay, but we went ahead and we ended up getting about 50 pips on this trade. So right about there, 51 pips is what we ended up getting on this particular trade. Now let me just go ahead and show you real quick the entry as I took it on this pair. All right, guys. So the next setup that we went ahead and we took was AUDUSD. Okay, and so on this one here, here's your Asian range, and you can see during the Asian range, because of that news that it had earlier that day, it actually had about a 50 pip range. Okay, so automatically, my way of thinking about this is it's already have a 50 pip range on during Asian session, right? So one of two things is probably going to happen. We're either going to get a reversal off the high of the day, which is what we want to trade, or you're just going to have basically movement sideways, and that's it, right? So if we have the reversal, we have a good chance of at least making it back to the middle of the range. Okay, and if we do that, we can at least get about 30 pips out of it or so. Okay, so we'll go ahead and let this play out for a second, and we'll show you what happened here. All right, so on this particular trade, I actually ended up getting in really early on this one, and what I was thinking at the time was I was thinking of, having basically an M formation do something like that, right? But it didn't do that, actually. So I ended up getting in on this candle here. Okay, stop loss was up here, and obviously it went against me, right? Now, because it didn't break past the high, okay, because it didn't break the high, I knew that I was still good. Okay, and actually what I ended up doing here now, and I'll show you here in a second, is I ended up getting in here originally, right? But once price moved up again and it retested this, okay, but it didn't close above it, you see, I actually took a second entry to sell right at the top here, and you'll see that in a second when I show you. So 2 entries to sell, okay, and let's just see what happens here on this particular one. Yeah, and so you can see essentially that we got the move that we were looking for and hoping for. Okay, so this particular trade, from the second entry, we ended up getting 32 pips, and then from the original entry that we took on this trade, we ended up getting about 26 pips on that particular one. All right, and now let me just show you both entries that I had on AUDUSD. Alright guys, so the next trade that we took was EURGBP, okay, and what we ended up getting here on EURGBP very simply was a type 1 setup on a nice M formation, as you can see here, okay, and that's what we ended up taking on this, okay. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. As you can see, what ended up happening. We got a nice little M formation here. We saw this the stop hunt happen, came down with railroad tracks, and it ended up coming right back, retesting that same high, not wicking at all, and then boom, straight down. Okay, so on this particular trade, we ended up going back down to the middle of the range here, and this trade ended up producing for us about 25 pips. Okay, so another good trade, and let me show you the entry on this one as well. Alright guys, so the next pair that we traded was pound CAD. Alright, and here we have the Asian session for pound CAD, and we're going to go ahead and let this play real quick, and I'll explain to you what essentially the setup was on this one. So as you can see, price is moving straight down, straight down, straight down, and essentially what I saw here was a type 1 setup, right? A type 1 setup where we could get a W formation here and go back up on it. Okay, now of course this was like at 4 or 5 in the morning. Okay, I knew news was coming out, so I wanted to make sure that any trade that I took was going to be over before news hit, because I didn't want this to be affected by news on this one, because I knew I was going to go against what the move was for the news. So let's go ahead, and obviously we got a W pattern here, moved down, came up, came back down, and then we went ahead and we took this trade. And as you can see, of course, that was news. So on this particular trade, we ended up getting 43 pips. So we got out right at like 7:45-ish. On this specific trade. Okay, we basically traded it back to the middle of the range. Okay, but let me go ahead and show you the entry on this pound CAD trade. Alright guys, so on this one we're looking at EURGBP, and I'm just going to play this out, but this is the Asian session right here on EURGBP, and at the very beginning of the Asian session I thought I had missed the setup. I thought this was a trade basically right out of the edge, right at the 245 candle, because of the of what we ended up getting here right at 245, which was a move up to the high of the range, comes back down, retests the middle of the range, and then literally just takes off, right? So I thought I had missed it, but it was basically the stop hunt that they were doing. So what we ended up getting here is we ended up getting a nice star pattern right here, and so this is what we ended up trading. Now on this particular trade, I actually did get in early. I got in on this second candle here when it was wicking up, so I thought that that would have been wicked up, and then you would have made the move down. So got in a little bit early, but ended up two candles later we ended up getting a nice star formation there, and it went our way. So on this one here, took it all the way back down to the middle of the range, and on this specific trade, we only ended up getting about 16 pips or so on this particular trade, but still nice little pickup for this particular pair. And then of course the setup was there, just had to wait a little bit more, be a little bit more patient on it. So we're looking at like 5:15 instead of 4:30 like I anticipated. But anyways, let me go ahead and show you how this one turned out when I took the trade. All right. Alright guys, and the last pair we're going to share here with you is going to be pound AUD, and here we have again the Asian range on pound AUD, and let's play this out real quick and I'll go ahead and explain to you. Alright guys, so as you can see right here, we're about 4:30, 5 o'clock range here, and we are basically touching the bottom of the Asian range, and we haven't pretty much moved below that, and we keep pinning to it, like you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if we go to a line chart, you can see that it's basically creating a little baby W here. So I basically traded that to buy, and I figured there was already one half done here. I move back up, and then a second half right here to go back up. Okay, I was basically aiming to get at least basically back to the middle of the range, which would have given me about 50 to 60 pips. Okay, let's go ahead and play this out here so you can see what happened. And as you can see, we ended up getting right to the middle of the range. It was 61 pips that we ended up getting on this particular trade. Okay, so let me just go ahead and show you the entry on this one. That way you can take a look and see how that one transpired. Alright guys, so guys, I hope you learned a lot from this video. Please let me know in the comments if you learned something, if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll be more than happy to try to make them for you. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Again guys, please like and share the video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would really appreciate your support. And until the next time guys, have a good rest of the trading week. Guys, one last thing. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate the fact that you take the time to watch my videos. I really hope that I've added value in each of the videos that I make for you guys, and I hope that you're learning something. As always, guys, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please like and share the videos if you found value in them. And also, don't forget to visit our website at www.fxntradinggroup.com. Once again, guys, thank you so much. I'm truly blessed.